Welcome to our TrackVia Tips and Tricks webinar. This week's topic is customizing your account with Solutions Consultant Jenny Beer. First, we will start with some basic housekeeping. You've started off on listen-only mode. Please keep your microphones off so all attendees can hear the presentation. If you do have a question, please submit those questions via the chat window, and Jenny will try to get to them as she can or at the end of the presentation. Those that we don't answer live, we will try to answer via email. This webinar is being recorded, and we will send out a recording to you in a follow-up email within 48 hours. That's all our housekeeping today, so I will hand this off to Jenny.
All right, thanks, Michelle. And I am going to just start my camera. So I am Jenny Beer, and I will be doing this presentation for you today. And we have a pretty short agenda there. We're going to be customizing colors and logos in your account, and then spend a lot more time also talking about how you can provide help links for limited users within your account. So customizing those links that show up in the help menu, and then we'll get to that Q&A. So with that, I am going to actually bring us right into an application so that we can start looking into all of that content. So I am logged in, obviously, to a TrackVia account. This one is designed for project management. And rather than spending time about like what the app actually does, we're just gonna really dive into what you see here in the little person icon, which is for admins. You have these options for your profile, managing users, my account, and signing out. So we're gonna spend all of our time in this my account option. So when you click that, you'll be taken default to this account details, which will tell you a little bit about the TrackVia plan you're on, and then give you your account number. So that account number can be useful if you are calling into support, and if you're able to tell them that account number. But where the more interesting stuff happens is starting here on this logos and colors tab. So most of you probably already have changed the logo in your TrackVia account. So this may not be news, but you can switch out the TrackVia logo that's there and put in your own company logo. And to do that, you just drag and drop a logo into that little space there. And there's some tips for the size of that logo to make sure that it renders well. And then you just click Apply Theme, and that new logo will show up. And this is my little fictitious company, Pluto's Norway. And then you can also select new themes. So we might want to choose something that works better with that white background. So maybe light with green, and I can apply. And then I'll have my new theme applied. And the logo and the theme do apply for every app in your account. So as an account-wide setting, not specific apps. But you can choose from any of those branded themes to find something that complements your logo. And then you can also upload a little icon here, which would change the TrackVia logo up in the tab of the tab of your browser as well, if you would like. So that's fairly straightforward. Probably most of you have figured that out, but we can jump into some additional customization too. In this advanced customization tab, there may be some new things. In this advanced customization, you can change your company or service name. So all the places that currently would refer to TrackVia, you can edit that. One example of that would be like up here where it says account and TrackVia on your tab. If you change this, so you click that, and then you can say Pluto's Norway, and then save that. And then it will change on your little dashboard or your tab as well. So you can easily edit that. You can also do a custom subdomain. So this usually starts out with go.trackvia.com. I've changed mine to say webinar.trackvia.com so that when people go to sign in, they will go to start typing in that address. What's nice about that is that it actually also changes then the default branding of that login page or the log out screen to match the branding that you have in your TrackVia application as well. So just to kind of highlight what that looks like, I have another browser here with a different TrackVia account, and this one is branded with TrackVia and obviously uses go.trackvia. And so when I sign out of that, then I see like this TrackVia branded login. And if I have a different one, when I do the log out for my webinar.trackvia, then I'll actually get this. So that's a nice, if you customize that, you can give a new address for your login, but then also you'll see your own logo and then the color branding that matches that as well. So that can provide a little bit more seamless experience. Similarly, there's an option in that My Account for when you log out that you might want to redirect your limited use or your users to a different website as well, a different URL. So you could put this here and maybe they go to a custom subdomain in order to log in. And then on sign out, you might be returned to like your intranet or your SharePoint site or something like that if you would like. So you can use that for a little bit more seamless experience. On the bottom section of this customization, I have options for some navigation and the help menu. So for the navigation options, this one is relatively new if you haven't been in here to see this. So you may remember, if you've been a TrackVia user for over a year, that the experience for navigating between dashboards previously was like a tab. And then when we did a refresh, then that experience now is actually like a drop down. So if I go here for accessing my different dashboards, if I've been permissed multiple dashboards, it's this drop down. But you can bring back the tabs if you would like. So if you haven't already done that or didn't know about that, in that My Account option, then you can go here and select Dashboard Tabs and save that. And now when I go to my applications, you'll see that I have my dashboard tabs. And again, you will only see the ones that you're permissed, as well as still that drop down experience as well. So if people liked having those tabs across the top, you can bring that back. Go back to My Account and take a look at the help menu. So the help menu in TrackVia, there's the default links that show up here. So you have the option here to say, yes, I want to use the help menu, because you could just hide that entirely if you wanted. And then whether or not you want to use the default TrackVia links. We're going to take a look at what those links are, clear this out, and then talk about how you might customize those for providing maybe additional help or maybe even better help for your limited user. A lot of the help links that are currently in there as a default are really geared toward admins. So they're providing information that helps you as admins build a better application, answer your questions, or learn more about TrackVia, which isn't necessarily always the help that a limited user needs. So let's take a look at what these are and then how you might change those. So view our knowledge base, that help option, if you're not familiar, these will take you automatically to help articles that provide like detailed steps for executing features or workflow in TrackVia. And again, that's about using the system rather than maybe your specific workflow that you're solving for within TrackVia. So it's really just about the TrackVia system. Similarly, you can use that same knowledge base area to ask a question of the larger community. So you could submit a question here and other admins or TrackVia people can go ahead and answer your question. Another option in this help menu is to suggest an improvement. So within that same kind of domain, if there are ideas you have for improvements in TrackVia, things that you would like to see, you can go ahead and add your idea here. You can also vote on other people's ideas. And product does look at that. Our product management team takes a look at the things that have been submitted and things that have been voted on when they're planning their product roadmap. Another option in the help menu here is TrackVia University. So this one is a relatively new addition to the default help links. So if I click TrackVia University, this will take you to a new university that we've been continuously adding to. So everyone obviously has access to this university through that link. You will be automatically brought into this, and there's a lot of free resources that you can use. Again, really geared toward admins for helping you learn about the TrackVia system. So there's a lot of on-demand training that will go beyond maybe those articles in the knowledge base and provide examples of applications for the information. So in this on-demand training, if I click on that, you will all have access to this new on-demand classes, and it gives you a total time that it will take to complete like this track. And then within these, there's also small segments that are like kind of a recorded webinar or an on-demand class with knowledge checks embedded in those, so that you can really maybe take off, bite off the piece of information that's most relevant to you, or pick up where you feel like, you could use more information. So there's a wealth of information here in the TrackVia University that if you haven't checked out yet, definitely worth looking into. We are continually adding to this TrackVia University as well, so you can find a lot of new information in here. In fact, there's a shortcut to anything new if you just want to see what's been added. So TrackVia University is a great tool for you as admins, and again, though, not necessarily meant to be for that limited user, right? We maybe would learn something about using TrackVia, but it's not really about the workflow within your application. The last few options within this default help menu. So there's a page to contact TrackVia support, which will give you the phone number and the email address for TrackVia support. It's a team that's locally or based locally here in Denver, where TrackVia is located. You can email them or call them, and they will pick up the phone and answer. And again, a limited user can certainly use that help link and contact TrackVia, but the people on the TrackVia support team know the TrackVia system. Maybe they don't know the process or workflow behind the applications that you have built. So if somebody calls and says, I don't understand, I'm supposed to submit this for approval, but this field is required and I don't really know what to put there. Well, the team would be able to say, it is required, it's a single line field. I don't really know what you're supposed to put there either. They don't know your business, they just know the TrackVia system very well. And so this support is, again, really geared more toward you guys as admins. And we can talk about how you might provide better support then by customizing those help links. Last pieces in here, there's release notes. So if you have any questions about maybe something has changed or just want to know, what's new in TrackVia, you can find those release notes. There's also a link to some product videos, which are also helpful. A YouTube video, maybe now kind of being replaced by newer content in TrackVia University, and then a link to our privacy policy as well. So a wealth of information for admins in these help links, but as we've pointed out, maybe less useful for your limited users, which is why we provide the opportunity to customize these help links. And I'm going to show you today how to do that, which isn't very complicated, but also point out some useful ideas, some tips and tricks that maybe you haven't thought about, and how you can best provide that help for your limited users and organize it without cluttering up dashboards. So to customize help, you first just click this pencil icon. And then when you do set custom help links, so this will actually then immediately remove all the default help links. So if you decide you want to customize your help links, it would be great to go and grab these links and copy them somewhere before you do this. You can undo the custom and get the default links back. But once you set this, it does wipe them out unless you undo it. So it would be good to go copy those before you do that. So if I click set help custom help links, then I have the option here to add links, an email address, or some text. So I'm going to add a link. And let's say we want to solve that problem of like business process documentation for our limited users. Rather than sending them to the admin-oriented help, we want to provide some documentation about the business process. One way that you can do that is actually link to maybe a shared file location. So maybe you have process documentation on like a SharePoint or a Google Drive or something like that. You could put information here that tells them what that link is going to be about. So let's say I wanted to call this workflow slides, because that's going to provide them the documentation they need for understanding some piece of what they're doing in TrackVia. And then I could take the website address, the link to that hosted location. In this case, it's a Google Doc. And then I would save this. And now when I go to help, right now I just have one choice, and it's workflow slides. And when I click on that, I'm taken to my help documentation. In this case, it's something that's outlining application workflows, so that maybe I can click into this and better understand my approval process and what I'm supposed to be doing. Whatever would be relevant to your business and your end users. Just going to clear some of these out here. So that would be one option, is to provide, like a hosted, like a shared site location. If you also have a hosted document, like maybe a PDF, you could put that also right here, and then it would look like you're just opening that PDF in a window and then closing it out without having to go to like that other file location. So you could also provide that if you had documentation in a PDF. Another option for being able to put all of this for providing information to your limited users. Let's say you have process documentation, and that documentation is different based on maybe what department you're in, or something that corresponds to like a user group in TrackVia. So maybe as project managers, in my project management app that we started in, there's certain documentation or resources that I want to provide to project managers, and that would be different than the people I'm going to provide, or the resources I might provide to like my QA folks. You can do that by actually providing a link to a view in TrackVia that is filtered by user group. So all of the locations in TrackVia, the different views and forms, all of that are links that you can actually put in these help links. So let's say process documentation. I'm going to put that here. I'm going to say this link is for process documents, and then I have a link to a view. Let me just grab that here. Link to a view that is filtered by user group. And that way I know that I'm going to provide the right documentation dynamically, to whoever is using this. So I'm going to save that. And now if I go to my help links, I have my workflow sites as well as process documents. And if I click on that, I will actually be taken to a view within my webinars.trackvia.com application. It's actually taking me into a different application, which I've titled admins. So obviously the person, all the people need to have access to the app and the view, but this is showing me resource links based on my user group as a project manager. So within this admins application, I have a table that is just titled links. And then here I have links for admins, which is like the privacy policy and the university and all those core links that I took out of the original help. And then I have some that are filtered for project managers in particular for that user group. And so I made that view that is going to just show my user group resources. And then, if I were a QA person, I'd see different options, but I'm getting there just through the help. So that provides a real quick access to the right information. This is also helpful because it keeps, like, you could provide this information maybe within the app, but it would be like another dashboard or maybe another link button from like a shortcut button from a dashboard. So this keeps their dashboards really clean for when they're doing their work, and then just provides them, an intuitive way to get to this extra view, these extra resources. So that's a good way to provide, the right information to the right group in a dynamic way. Back in my account, remember this is how we're getting there, in the My Account settings, under advanced customization, we're going to add some other options for that help menu. So let's say as admins, we wanted to be able to get to that admin app and be able to see all of our admin resources. Again, you would need to have permission to this application or to the view, but you could put it in here. And if somebody didn't have permission, they just see, that sign, that error notice that says you don't have permission, you can request it. So I will copy this link here for admin help and save that. And now, essentially what I'm going to be doing through the help link, I'm going to be going to my admin application. But instead of having to train people to go to a different application, I can just get there through the help menu, and then I will be taken to the admin homepage. So in the previous example, we went directly into a specific view. You can also go into, like the home dashboard of an app. So you have choices there. You could also go directly to a form if you want. So those links can be, tailored to if you need to maybe hit the whole app so that you're able to go to the different dashboards, or just directly to a view, because all I need to do is click on the links. Similarly, a lot of TrackVia customers use an app within their account for feedback, and you might have to be, training people, like maybe they have access to project management as well as feedback, and you have to remind them, you go to a different application to deliver your feedback or make suggestions for improvements. Well, you can put that right in the help menu too, so that your limited user can just know that they have to navigate to help, which might be more intuitive than reminding them that they need to go to a different application. So in that example, you might put here feedback, and then you are just getting the link for that application and putting it here, putting in that URL. And just to show you where you find that as well. So when I would come in here to feedback through the app dropdown, we get here to feedback. And so in order to put that link now in my help menu, I actually just grab this address right there. And then, obviously nobody's getting there unless they're already logged in. So because they have the permissions, this link will work. So all of those links to a specific form or, to the dashboard, that is how I'm finding those for that help link. So here I navigated through the app menu, but I could get there through this, through the help link as well. And notice that when you do it through the help link, it brings it up in a new tab. So that's also useful, because if I'm doing my work, maybe in, in my app, so I'm a project manager and I'm doing all of my work, I can use the help menu to pop open the new tab and provide my feedback, close that tab out, and be right where I left off, rather than navigating through the app menu where I'm within that same tab, that same window. So like I said, that can go to a dashboard. You can also just go directly to a form. So maybe in your help menu, let's go back to my account, advanced customization. Maybe in this help menu, instead of providing feedback, taking them to the app, you just want to give them a form. Like they don't need to see anything more there. Or if they want to dig into details, see the status of it, maybe they could just navigate to that app. They already know how to do that, but you just want to give them a form. So maybe I call that submit feedback. And then I'm going to give them the link to that form that was embedded in that application. And so now if we go to submit feedback, oh, we came back to this one. You can actually give them directly. When I looked at my link, I wondered if that was going to happen. You can actually give them direct access to this form by clicking on this website here and putting that into your help menu. So that way they come directly to this form, they fill out their information, they click Save Changes, and then you could just X out of this tab and be right back where you left off. So just the same way that you can pull that link for a view or to a whole app, you can also do it specifically to a form. So that can be really helpful. There was a question, somebody said that they don't see a help menu on the account. So that may be because in your settings under Help menu. So if you navigate to Advanced Customization and in Help menu, when we first went here and we go to customize this, there is an option to deselect Show Help menu. And so if you've done that, then Help will not be a part of your toolbar there across the top. So the first step, if you are not currently using it, is to say, yes, please show it. Because if I do that, then it will be gone. So first step in customizing that is to say, yes, show it, and then you can set your links. One other idea for doing this, for using the links in the help menu. So we've talked about you can do specifically to a form, you can do it to an app, and then you could also do this to a view. And sometimes there are some reporting, like overall reporting, that you want to share company-wide. So again, it would need to be something that every person is going to have access to, because that help menu is, again, account-wide. So you're not going to be able to customize links within every application. The same links will be available throughout the application. So you want to make sure that it's something that everybody has access to. And using those user groups is one way to make sure that you're filtering information, in a way that you maybe would have done like per app. You could do universally, but just filter by user group. And so another option, if you wanted to do a view, maybe there was something like everybody in the company wants to know, how our budget performance is, or maybe like your sales metrics or something that you want people to know about. You can also link directly to a view, and as long as everyone has access, they'll be able to get there through that help menu. So if I save my options there, budget performance, and then I'll be taken directly to a view. Where, just like every other view in TrackVia, you could dive into, assuming you were permissed all of those options. So hopefully that provides you some good tips for how you can give your limited user, more detailed help specific to their role or the workflow that you have built out in your application, rather than kind of just those generic help options that are really more admin focused. Give your users a better experience and also keep their dashboards more streamlined. There's things that they access infrequently, or maybe getting them to go to that feedback app. Keeping it in that help menu means that you don't have to clutter up their apps or dashboards with other information. The last pieces in this account standardization, just to quickly glance through and the rest of our time here. So there is options for setting your security policy. So you can change, whether your passwords expire and whether they can be reused, and how, like if you log out automatically, so you can configure those. Obviously, API access if you are working with integrations. And then there is that backup and restore option as well. So you can back up your entire account and then restore it if you need to, if changes have been made and you need to actually restore back to the previous backed up version. So that covers all of the account customization. If there are any other questions, I can take those now. I know we're right at the half-hour mark, so I can certainly follow up with questions if we aren't able to get to those right now. But I really appreciate you guys joining us today. As kind of a last follow-up, when you log out, you will be asked to provide some feedback. We really like hearing from you if this session was helpful, if you have ideas for other webinars, things that you would like to hear. And then if you do have questions about this content and you didn't submit them here, or you think of them later, you can certainly email me, jenny.beer@trackvia.com, and I'm happy to follow up with you. It looks like that's it for questions. So hopefully that means I did a really good job. Please fill out the feedback, and thank you very much for joining us today.